What up? Back on the scene like a dope fiend. It's a trip, Dougie. I told you guys a couple of crazy stories about my mom, so now I'm gonna tell you about my dad. So back in the day, my dad used to stay out in San Bernardino with his baby's mom, and every now and then they would get into it, and she'd kick him out. And my dad never had a problem with staying in the streets, so this time he's staying out in the streets in San Bernardino. So there's this park out there. It's known for like drugs and prostitution and shit. So one time he's using the restroom, he comes out, Hura pulls up on him, says, "Hey, who's inside that restroom?" And my dad tells him, "I ain't your fucking informant. Why don't you get off your lazy ass off and go check for yourself?" And Hura just drives off. They know a nut when they see one. So then here's such a here's another one. Another time, my dad's walking down the street. So he's walking down the street. Hura says, "Hey, can I?" Pulls up on him. Says, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And my dad says, "No." Keeps walking. And so what happens is he ends up stopping. My dad runs his name and all that, and he says, "Hey, you're from Wooty Whoop," and my dad says no because he's this old school type. Um, you don't admit to being from any neighborhood or any type of organization. You don't document that shit with law enforcement. That's for the streets. That street shit stays there. So, anyways, and that's how he raised me to be. So, so anyway, he says, "Well, if you know where I'm from, what do you ask?" And he says, "Well, what do you lie to me for?" And my dad says, "Well, it's not like you've never been lied to before." So he says, "Nobody lies to me." And he says, "Sure, just like when your old lady or your wife says she's true to you." And then the Hura says, "Well, she is true to me." And he goes, "That's not what she said last night when I had her squealing like a pig." So anyway, Hura gets mad. Fucking, as soon as they end up starting fighting. Well, he starts fighting when my dad starts swinging on my dad. And my dad says he's just blocking the hits. He's blocking the hits and says he's telling him my granddaughter hits harder than that. So anyway, they end up throwing my dad in dirt, and they end up busting him for assault on a police officer. Well, he said he never hit the hood up, but I don't know. I kind of think he probably did. But anyway, he was busted for a while, like a few months. Like he was busted. So this is a little crazy story that I tell you guys. To the next one, I'm out.